Hey y'all, what's up? It's me. It's me. It is everything fresh and sassy. How are you? I hope all is well with you. I do, mind, body, spirit, and in health. So, playing a little bit of catch up here. It is early in the morning. It is 1:40 a.m. and it is Thursday, January 26th. Okay, so I'm trying to play a little catch up on some videos I said I was going to do. Um, I know I said I was going to do a part two to the, what was that, understanding the assignment. I might do that after this one. I don't know. But this one I wanted to really get out of the way first. I really need to do the part two before I do anything else. But this is calling on me right now. Okay. But I wanted to come in and just offer some advice, if I may. If I may. One thing that I could say a whole lot of things about my being vegan or being plant-based. And listen, if being vegan or plant-based, if anybody talking about veganism in a way that, is not satisfying to you, I will tell you now, this is not the video for you. Please tune out. Please turn off. While I'm not here bashing that particular diet, I have things to say because, that was my life. That's what I went through. And I'm going to share what I went through. What I won't do is say I'm going to tell you my truth because you know what? I can't stand it when people say that's my truth. This is my truth. That's my truth. This is my truth. I'm like, no, I don't want your truth. I want the truth, okay? Because what you may see or have envisioned as being your truth might not be the absolute truth. So I want the full truth. And that's what I plan to share with you about, things that I have experienced as a vegan or plant-based, whatever you want to call it, things that I have experienced. And the other thing I want to say is I'm not going to be referring to the keto diet anymore. And I think that's best for me not to do so because I'm not following keto absolute. And so I don't want to disrespect those who are following keto to the letter. I don't want to disrespect them in any way because of my lack of knowledge or understanding about something that as it pertains to keto. But I don't want to do that. So I won't be referring to keto. I'll just be telling you what I've done, what I've been doing, etc. So we won't be using that word here anymore. Okay. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, I don't want to disrespect what they're doing with that. And I just want to share what I'm doing with this over here using. So anyway, a few things I wanted to share and this is in the line of encouragement. And I can remember when I was plant-based, I used to tell people, don't tell anybody that you're plant-based. Don't tell anybody that you're on a diet or that you're trying to reduce or release weight because the moment they feel like your weight loss is not according to their watch, they will have something to say about you still being overweight. And that might have an impact on your ability to maintain your stick-to-itiveness, okay? To maintain your ability to be persistent and be consistent in whatever it is that you're doing to release weight, to reduce, etc. Okay? So I'm just, and I used to say this all the time, and I'll say it again now. If you are in the process of releasing weight, reducing weight, trying to get healthy, trying to improve your health, don't say anything to anybody about it. Do what you got to do. And then after you have hit a few of your benchmarks, then if you want to share, I say share at that time. But at least in doing it this way where you're not expressing what your plans are, what your intentions are, nobody can say, see, you didn't do it. See, it didn't happen. It didn't work out. You didn't lose the weight. Look at you. You're still big. You're still overweight. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. That's why when I started doing what I was doing, when I stopped eating the sugar, the wheat, the rice, the pastas, the breads, the cookies, cakes, and pies, and all of that, that's really not good for us in the first place. Um, I didn't say anything about it. I just waited until I had lost a good amount of weight to the point where I could look at myself and say, wow, I look kind of different, you know? Um, but I did stop that regimen kind of sort of somewhat um, because it was at my advice of my doctor that I do so. Now, just because she advised me to do something doesn't mean I'm going to do what she asked me to do. But it was a well thought out decision that I discontinue based on some of the side effects that I was having with the excessive urination and the weak and tired feeling. So we thought that she and I both thought and agreed that, you know, I should get off for a while. I may get back on because, again, my goal is 180. I don't want to be skinny. I don't think anyone in their right mind wants to be overweight, obese, fat, whatever you want to call it. I don't think anybody in their right mind wants to be that way. So I may get back on it probably around March. I really wanted to wait till it warms up, but I really don't want to wait till it warms up because I want to be, you know, okay. And I'm not that far from there now, okay? So, but anyway, so the first thing I wanted to say was, if you're reducing, if you're trying to lose weight, keep it to yourself. Say nothing. Wait until you've hit some benchmarks, and then you can report on those benchmarks as you deem necessary. And I think I've explained why I say that, because the moment you have not, met someone's time schedule, then they got a lot to say about what you're doing, what you're not doing, what they think you should do, how you think, all kinds of stuff. And that may impact some people in some way. Some people aren't impacted, subliminally, unconsciously. You might be impacted by what someone says about how you're going about losing weight. So whether you think you're being impacted or not, it may have an impact, is what I'm saying. And I'm just saying, for your own personal mental health and well-being, keep it to yourself. Keep it to your doggone self, okay? I want to say something else, and it kind of sort of pertains to this, and in a way it doesn't, but just, tie it in if you think it should be tied in, but I know it ties in here somewhere. When I was a kid, I used to get bullied by people in my neighborhood. They talk about me bad. They say bad things about me. I had eczema as a child. They made fun of me because of that. All kinds of things. My mother wouldn't let me go outside and hang out with the rest of the kids like everybody else, and I was made fun of because of that. I was made fun of because they said I talked like a white girl. I'm like, what does that even mean? What are you saying? But I got picked on for a lot of reasons, and it wasn't just at school. I mean, it just wasn't in my neighborhood. It was also at school as well. And what I want you to know is this: I know there are people who carry with them the memories of what happened to them as children, how people picked on them and said bad things about them and hurt their feelings. And what I want you to know what I want you to know, what I need you to know, is that you can let that go. You can really, really let all of that go. And let me tell you why. Because number one, call it karma. Say Yahweh's catching up with that ass, whatever you want to call it. But they are getting right now, at this moment, they are getting their comeuppance. For all that they ever said or did to you, how they hurt you, how they offended you, how they harassed and harangued you, they are getting their comeuppance right now. Right now. I mean, I'm even talking about the people that bullied me and made fun of me as a child. They are getting theirs right now. They are getting that ass toe up right now. Okay? Philosophically speaking, they're getting that ass tore up. Physically, they're getting that ass toe up. They're getting theirs. They're getting theirs. And they were probably getting theirs whilst they were teasing, taunting, harassing, haranguing you. They were probably getting it back then too. And they needed an outlet. They needed somebody else they could kick down the street. You know the saying, hurt people, hurt people. So even back when they were, harassing you, they were probably already getting it then too. But trust and believe, they're getting it now. Right now. Just know that I know they're getting it. Okay? And if you have a way to connect with these people, I can assure you, or you don't even have to connect with them. Connect with people that know them. And they will tell you, you know what, things ain't as nice as you might think they may be over on that side. Because right now, she's going through something. Right now, the relationship she's in, right now, the relationship he's in, right now, her mental state of affairs, right now, her physical state of affairs, her financial state of affairs, anything, her spiritual state of affairs. Don't look good, sis. Don't look good at all. Okay? So I just want to tell you, I know there are people out there who have been hurt and treated badly by other people. Just know they are already getting theirs. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to put your mouth in it. You don't have to lift a finger, a phone call, a bucket, nothing. They're getting theirs right here on this side. And guess what? When they leave here, they're probably going to get it on the other side too. So don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Just know they're already paying for what they did to you. Okay? I want you to know that. I want you to know that. Okay? Because I know people hold on to things and they don't let them go and they carry these things and it just keeps them so angry, so bitter, so hateful, so uncaring, so just bitter. So I want you to know that. I just want you to know. Excuse me. So I wanted you to know that. And there was something else I wanted to say. And that is this. If people want to talk about you, let them talk. Let them say, let them do, let them mock, let them carry on and poke fun at. Let them do what they want to do. Let them say what they want to say. Okay. My thing is, as long as you ain't called my name, you ain't talking about me. Okay. You talking about some entity back way over there or over here or over there. If you ain't called my name, you ain't talking about me. So I ain't even worried about you. Okay. So I would suggest that you just adopt that mentality. Okay. If you ain't called my name, you ain't talking about me. But what I want to say is, let them talk. If they ain't called your name, they're not talking about you. Let them talk, because guess what? When they finally let that top lip meet that bottom lip and they're like this, guess what? Guess who's still looking back at them in the mirror? Guess who they got to deal with after they get finished talking about you, me, her, him, them, okay? Guess who they still got to deal with? Guess who they got to look at? And I can tell you right now, there's a whole lot of people, maybe not a whole lot of people, but there are some people who don't like what they see when they look in that mirror. There are some people who really don't understand the fact that they can't even live with themselves. There are some people who don't understand. They don't even like to spend time alone by themselves. There are some people who don't like who and what they are. They don't like who and what they are. They don't like to spend time with themselves. They cannot face themselves. So let them talk and say whatever it is they want to say. Let them talk and whatever. Because like I said, if you ain't called my name, you ain't talking about me. If you haven't put your hands on me, you got nothing for me and I have nothing for you. We'll leave that like that. So, let them talk, let them say whatever they want to say. Because at the end of the day, when that top lip meets that bottom lip, guess what? They got to look at them in the mirror. Guess what? There they are. Guess what? They got to deal with them. And oftentimes they don't want to deal with themselves. They don't want to work through, the reasons why, they feel the way they feel. They're angry, they're anxious, they're mad, they're filled with despair and just bad emotions, bad feelings. And they can't work through those emotions. So the best thing that they can do is pick at or try to bring someone else down. But in the process of them trying to bring somebody else down, guess what? I could leave here today or tomorrow, and they still going to be talking about me. I could leave here today or tomorrow, and they would find somebody else to talk about. Only because they're not happy with who and what they see in that mirror. So it doesn't matter whether they're talking about me or talking about somebody else. They got a problem with themselves. Plain and simple. Okay, so let me just get into what I really came here for. And I wanted to offer some hope, some light, so to speak, at the end of the tunnel. If you have been leading a plant-based vegan diet and it didn't work out for you, and there seems to be a lot of people it didn't work out for. And some of the best people that I thought really had it all together and really were doing it well, people like Tish Wonders, y'all just go over there and check out her channel. just go check out Tish, Tish Wonders. I thought this young lady was the epitome of being plant-based / vegan, whatever you want to call it, okay? I thought she was the epitome. I mean, she was doing everything right. She was soaking her beans. I never soaked my beans. She was mixing the proper vegetables and fruits together at the proper time. I wasn't. I was eating what I wanted, you know. I wasn't thinking about, you know, can I mix tomatoes with broccoli? I wasn't thinking about that, you know, because I didn't know. I didn't know. I just felt like as long as I'm not eating any type of, I felt like as long as I was not eating anything that had parents, okay, I was being a good vegan, all right? I felt like as long as I was eating my nuts, beans, seeds, legumes, green leafy vegetables, my fruits, I felt like I was, oh Lord, I felt like I was all right. Not now, not now, not now, not now. I felt like I was all right and that I was doing everything according to the way a good vegan should be conducting themselves. That's what I thought, you know. I wasn't eating anything that had parents, and I wasn't eating anything that came from anything that had parents, i.e. eggs, milk, cream, cheese. I wasn't eating those things. So therefore, I thought I was a good vegan, right? But anyway, I have really yet to hear, not that I'm listening or looking, but from 2009 to 2020, I was vegan, okay? And I really had yet to hear anybody say, this is the vegan regimen. This is what you eat. This is what you don't eat. This is how you mix. This is how you don't mix. You know, I have yet to see any publications with that type of guidance, instruction, or support. I have yet to see it. I have yet to see it. You know, when I was sick, you know, with all these deficiencies and things like that, you know, the only thing people could recommend was more vitamins, more supplements, more vitamins, more supplements. And I didn't come to the vegan lifestyle for supplements. I came to the vegan lifestyle because, number one, I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to stay healthy. And if I lost weight along the way, that was the icing on top of the cake. But my goal was health. It was never to lose weight. It was health and being well. That's it. So when I came to this vegan lifestyle, I found myself with a myriad of health issues. I was on a plethora of supplements, 13 supplements a day just to feel 80%. Okay? That's not why I came to this vegan lifestyle. I didn't come here to be popping pills, 13 pills to be exact, every day. Anyway, I just want to let you know that if you have been vegan and you have left this lifestyle, there's hope. There's healing. Because when in March, I believe it was March 2020, when I decided I wasn't going to be vegan anymore, I was concerned about how long it was going to take me to heal because I was sick. And as I've said in a couple other of my videos, something happened to me between October 2019 to about February 2020. I don't know what it was. Something bad happened, and I didn't have any flu-like symptoms. I didn't have any fever, no cough. I didn't have anything like that, anything that would make someone think I had the flu or the cold or a cold or pneumonia. It wasn't anything like that, but something happened. I don't know what it was, but I was not well. I was very unwell. Okay. And it had many not side effects, but it had many symptoms. I don't want to go into that right now. And so at that time, between October of 2019 to March of 2020, I'm thinking, okay, all this stuff is happening. I'm sick. Something's happening to me. I don't know what's happening. Okay. And then this whole thing about this whole vegan thing might not be working for me. So I had these two components going on at the same time. And I don't know what's going on. And I just said, but I know right now I need to stop with the vegan diet. I need to stop. So I stopped. And I wondered to myself, how long is it going to take me to heal? Because, you know, out of what I had read, out of what I had seen, I had not heard anybody say, well, it took me this long to heal. It took me that long to heal, you know. But there were plenty of people out there talking about their journey, you know, through veganism and then their journey away from it. But I don't recall anybody saying exactly how long it has taken them. But I will tell you, it has taken me every bit of these past 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years in March. It has taken me every bit of this time to recover, to recuperate, to restore, to regenerate. It has taken me every bit of this 2 years and 10 months to recover, restore, and recuperate. Excuse me. I get so thirsty when I talk. So it has taken me every bit of 2 years and 10 months, and I suspect that I will still continue to heal past that point as well. Okay. Now, what I want to say to you that since I have gotten off the vegan diet, I no longer have to take any more vitamins. I had quite a few vitamins I had to take. I had a multivitamin that I would take, and then I would need extra support, like with the D. Even though there was vitamin D in the multivitamin, it wasn't enough. I needed, you know, another 1,000 IUs because I think it was only 500 in the, what do you call it? The multivitamin. And I needed between 15 I needed between 15 and 2,000 IUs, 1,500 and 2,000 IUs of vitamin D. So I would take a multivitamin that had D, and then I would take the extra D, and then I needed extra folic acid. I needed C to help absorb because there was something going on in my gut, I'm guessing, where I wasn't absorbing certain nutrients. So, and I believe that because I was taking iron at one time and it was working and then it wasn't working. And then my doctor said, well, I want you to get the iron plus C. And I was using a brand called Vitron C. And she says the C will provide the acid that you need in your stomach to help with absorption of that vitamin that you need, which is iron. So that's why I kind of thought, you know, my ability to absorb certain nutrients had been compromised. So I was taking extra C as well. And, you know, the C vitamin is water soluble, meaning that, you know, you can take it today, but it gets peed out at the end of the day, and you have to take it again, you know, for as long as you need it. Anyway, I no longer require any supplements whatsoever. When I try to take a supplement now, I get sick. I feel ill. And I guess that's just my body's way of telling me, you don't need this. Don't take this anymore. Because, you know, when I took vitamins before, you know, I always felt better. I can't say that there were times when I took my vitamins and I didn't feel better, but I always felt better when I was taking my vitamins. And there was always a big difference between when I was taking them and when I wasn't taking them. So I no longer require any supplements whatsoever. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I started taking vitamin D3 because I was feeling tired, I was feeling weak. But then I wasn't following my own advice because I had just done a video where I said, please don't take any vitamins unless it is indicative that you need to take that vitamin. Don't take any vitamins unless you have something in black and white before you that says you need to take this vitamin because you don't have enough of this vitamin, okay? Because we can do a lot of harm to ourselves in that way. Because let me just give you the example. Like I said, a couple of weeks ago, I just was feeling really tired. And I was like, what is wrong? Why am I so tired? And so I said, well, you know what? You have not been out in the sun because there's not a whole, I mean, there is sun, but it's cold outside. And if it's cold outside, I don't want to be outside, right? So I'm thinking it's probably the vitamin D because I know that when your vitamin D levels are low, you can feel tired. But if your vitamin B12 levels are low, you'll feel tired. If your iron is low, you're definitely going to feel tired. There could be a whole gamut of reasons why you're feeling tired or listless, okay? And then come to find out the problem was not that I needed vitamin D3, but that my electrolytes were on the low side. Let me give you the example of what I saw on the lab work, because of course I got it done, right? I don't remember what my magnesium, potassium, well, I know my sodium was 143. No, my sodium was 137, excuse me. But I don't remember what my potassium, magnesium, phosphate, and chloride levels were. But let's just say your chloride levels to be normal have to be between 10 and 20, okay? And let's just say my chloride was at an 11. So it was 1 point away from being abnormal, okay? Or low. And let's just say my chloride level was low. Did I already say chloride? Okay, so let's just say my potassium level is supposed to be between 10 and 20, and it was 11. My chloride should have been between 10 and 20, and it was 11. My phosphorus should have been at between 10 and 20, but it was at an 11. So it was on the low side of being normal. It was still normal, but it was 1 point away from being in the abnormal zone. And so because everything, all of those other electrolytes, with the exception of the sodium, which was in the good range of 137, everything else was on the low side of being normal. And that's why I was feeling tired and listless. So I got myself a, what do you call it? An electrolyte water. Now, the problem with these electrolyte waters is that some of them add sugar. I had to find one without any type of sugar, no sweetener whatsoever, okay? And you need to know what the sources are for the electrolytes. Are they using melon juice to replace your, is that magnesium? Yeah. Are they using melon juice in the electrolyte water to replace your magnesium? What is the source of vitamin K, of potassium? What is the source of chloride? Okay, I think chloride is still salt, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I was low on electrolytes, and I got myself an electrolyte water, and I drank one for the day. Electrolyte waters are not something you want to spend the day drinking. You really shouldn't be drinking electrolyte waters unless you are exercising and perspiring and sweating a lot, and it's really hot. And if you're sick and you've been losing a lot of fluids, whether you've been vomiting, whether you have been vomiting or urinating or you've had diarrhea, then it's okay to be on the vitamin waters. If you have had your electrolytes compromised due to gastrointestinal issues, or because you have been exercising and sweating and you're losing electrolytes that way. And that's why I always tell people, please be careful with following these fads about drinking copious amounts of water, because you're going to cause yourself a problem. And there's something called I think it's hypo or either hyper, I think it's hypernatremia. And that's when people drink too much water and they essentially drown themselves, and they can end up with a stroke, a heart attack, because they have lost so many electrolytes, drinking so much water. Because the more water you drink, the more you're going to urinate. The more you urinate, the more of your electrolytes are being flushed out. So drinking copious amounts of water serves no one to any benefit. You know, some people will drink water to fill their stomach. Why would you want to drink water to fill your stomach up? Why? The reason why we ingest what we ingest is because we need nutrition. We need vitamins. We need minerals. There is no nutrition in water. Well, some water, mineral water has minerals, but you don't get the vitamins and minerals that you need to sustain life from water. Now, you have to have water. I get it. I understand that. But as I said, pushing these copious amounts of water is bad advice, and it's dangerous, to say the least. Because drinking all that water, like I said, you're pushing out your electrolytes, and you need those electrolytes to keep your heart beating, to keep your lungs breathing, okay, to keep your kidneys functioning, your liver functioning, your gallbladder, your pancreas. You need all of those electrolytes to send out those impulses that cause your organs to work for you. Okay? And without those electrolytes, you're urinating all those electrolytes out. You're taking away from what your body needs to function properly. Okay? Your brain has to be able to fire properly in order that your organs function properly. Okay? So, as I said, drink if you're thirsty. Well, I don't think I said this, but I did say it in another video. Drink if you're thirsty. And oftentimes I'm thirsty. I guess because I talk too much. I don't know. But drink if you're thirsty. Don't do that copious amounts of water thing. Don't drink half your body weight, because goodness knows, okay, if you're 400 pounds and you're going to attempt to drink 200 ounces of water, there's a reason why you're at 400 pounds. You're probably holding on to water. Your kidneys aren't functioning well. Your liver might not be functioning well if you're at 400 pounds. So why would you take in these copious amounts of water that your kidneys can't even handle? You see what I'm saying? So that's why I tell people, you know, after that vegan diet, I learned my lesson. You've got to do your own work. You can't just listen to someone just because they made the video. They put the video. I saw it on YouTube. I saw it on Instagram. I saw it on Google. You know, you can't follow a trend. You can't follow everything that you hear and see just because you saw it, just because you heard someone say it, just because someone wrote a blog and it ended up on Google. That's a dangerous game. You know, it's like people have just thrown real education and real knowledge out the window, and they've decided that whoever they see, whoever has the most subscribers, well, I guess they know what they're talking about. They got so many followers, I might as well listen to what they're saying. It's a dangerous game. So anyway, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I am healing. I am getting well. It has taken every bit of 2 years and 10 months to get where I am now. I no longer have to take vitamins. And the next thing I'm going to say affected my intimate life with my husband. And I'll tell you what the problem was. When I was vegan and I was at what they called end stage veganism, when I was at the very end stages of being vegan, where I was feeling bad, I was looking bad. When I got to that point, there was something, and I forget what it's called, but it starts with a K. But I had chicken skin. And that chicken skin played a big role in me not wanting my husband to touch me. I did not want him to feel, and when I say chicken skin, you know when you have like a chicken thigh or a chicken leg and you see those bumps, or you know how when you get goosebumps on your arm or on your legs, that's what my legs and my arms felt like all the time. That's what most of my body felt like. It felt like I had goosebumps all over, and I was like, I was grossed out by it. And because of it, I didn't want it was like I would kind of shy away from my husband touching me because I didn't want him to touch that goose pimply skin. You know, I didn't like touching it, you know, but that went away. That's gone. My skin is so soft. It's so smooth. It really is. It's nice to touch. I love it. And, you know, sometimes I just want to touch myself, you know. But that played a big role in me not, and I think he thought that I didn't want him to touch me. It wasn't that I didn't want him to touch me. It was that I was grossed out by what I had going on with my skin and this chicken skin that I had. And I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do about it. I had seen some videos on YouTube about some melanated sisters who also had chicken skin, and they were vegan as well. So they didn't really have any advice to pass along because they're still vegan, but they were saying that they were vegan and they had this chicken skin. So that's one of the greatest impacts veganism had on my intimate relationship with my husband, was that I didn't want him to touch me. I didn't want him to feel that. I didn't want him to be grossed out and be like, oh, why is your skin all bumpy, you know? So, but thanks be to Yahweh, I don't have that problem anymore. I don't have that problem. But anyway, let me just go on. The palms of my hands were, that's not such a good, they look pink now, but the palms of my hands and the soles of my feet were yellow. They were jaundiced looking, you know. I don't have that anymore. I'm no longer stone cold. I'll never forget one time my husband and I were at the Asian market, and he had just gotten off from work, and I was feeling really weak and tired, and I wanted some soup, and I wanted to go to the store to get the ingredients for the soup, but I was so weak and tired, I was afraid to go out by myself, so I waited for him to come home, and he said, just wait for me. I'll go to the store and I'll get what you need, but I wanted to get out of the house. You know, I think I was afraid to stay home by myself because I was feeling so bad. So when he got there, he was like, okay, just give me the list. And I was like, no, I'll go. And so we got to the store. We're in the store, and I'm feeling really weak and tired. And he's pushing the cart, and I'm holding him by his arm. Okay, he's right here, and I've got my hand on his arm and then through his arm this way like that, right? And so he reached over to touch my hand, and I never forgot this. He reached over to touch my hand, and it was like, oh my God. He said, you are so stone cold. I was like, yeah, I am cold, you know? But just his reaction to how cold I was, it really startled him. And it didn't startle me, but it just made me think, wow, what am I doing to myself in front of my family? What am I doing? and I just felt, I don't know, to see him so startled made me feel sad, I guess. Not sad because he did anything wrong or he made me feel bad. It's just that was his normal reaction. When you touch a person, you don't expect them to feel like a piece of ice. And that's exactly how I felt and what I felt like. A piece of ice all the time, and I could never get warm. And it felt like someone had just opened up my skin, put in a slab of ice, and then closed my skin up. I could never get warm. No matter how many blankets, no matter how many pair of socks, I would have on 3 pair of pajama pants. I'd have on a t-shirt and 2 flannel shirts. I'd have a hat on my head in the house. In the house. That's how cold I was all the time, suffering with this anemia, right? But I no longer suffer with anemia. My anemia has been corrected. My hemoglobin, hematocrit, let me see, hemoglobin, hematocrit, MCHC, MCH, and I think there's one more thing, but I don't remember what it is. All of that dictates whether you're anemic or not. And everything across the board is A-OK and normal. And I know I said I was going to share my lab work with you. I'm still going to do it because I want you to see where I was throughout the course of me being vegan, because I have all of my lab work right in my phone. I love the lab that I work with because I can get my lab results before my doctor calls me to deliver any bad news or any good news. I see it first, and that's how I like it, because sometimes the doctors don't, their delivery isn't very, I don't know, patient friendly, I guess, for lack of a better term. I can remember when my iron was really bad, right? And the doctor's office called me at 4:45 p.m. and I just missed picking up the phone. And when I picked up the phone, the line was dead. They had already hung up. So I called them right back, and they'd already switched their phones over 15 minutes early. It was 4:45, and they weren't supposed to switch over till 5. Oh, Lord, not again. And they weren't supposed to switch over yet. And so I tried calling them back. I couldn't get anybody to answer, and I just kept calling. And what happened was they left me a message. So I finally got the voice message after the second or third time I tried to call them. And I got the voice message, and it said, please give the office a call. The doctor needs to talk to you about your lab results. 4:45 in the evening on a Friday, no less. And you're telling me no one's answering the phone, even though you all shut the phones off 15 minutes early. It's Friday. I can't talk to anybody until Monday because the recording says if you're trying to get lab results, you have to get them during normal business hours, right? And I'm like, so now you call me at 4:45 to tell me this? That was inappropriate. You should be making lab calls first thing in the morning. If you can't do it before 12 noon, don't make those calls. Honestly, that's not fair to your patient to have to sit and wait from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, wondering, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Why do they need to talk to me about my lab work? What's, oh, it's gotta be, oh, what if it's, That's not right to do that to people, So I'm not going to sit there and wait the whole weekend. I called the answering service. I said, I don't care who you get, but I really need to talk to someone because they just left this message, and I don't think it's appropriate that they think I should wait the entire weekend wondering and worrying what it is they want to talk to me about. So that's why I stopped going to this other lab we were using, and I started going to the other particular lab because I can get my lab results before the doctor does, and I can look at it and see it in my own time, instead of someone delivering me a bad blow or some bad news in a very uncaring, uncomforting way. You know what I'm saying? So Anyway, as I was saying, my iron deficiency has been corrected. I'm no longer iron deficient. I don't have to take the Vitron C anymore or have to try and guess how long I should take it for. The other complication to the anemia was the fact that while I was vegan, I was having these really heavy cycles to the point where I was wearing an adult diaper, 2 overnight pads, and internal protection, which only lasted for 45 minutes. And I'd have to set a timer on my phone for 45 minutes so that I could get upstairs and change before I messed something up. And I always had to walk around with a towel. For the first 2 or 3 days, I couldn't even leave the house. I was too scared and embarrassed that I was going to mess something up somewhere out in public. Okay? So those heavy cycles were complicating and compounding my anemia. Now, whether the heavy cycle was the cause of the anemia, I don't think so. Because when I stopped the plant-based diet, my cycles became normal again. You know, they lasted 4 or 5 days. Because there was a time, I just had my last cycle January 1st of 2022. That was my last cycle. So it's been a year. So I'm officially menopausal now. So from 2020 to 2022, I had a normal cycle. And I wasn't needing to take any iron. I wasn't needing to wear an adult diaper and 2 overnight pads and internal protection. I wasn't having to go through all these, jumping through hoops and all of this just to get through my menses. So anyway, what else? My temperature. I don't know why I get so excited about that, but I guess because I was so cold for so long all the time. And trust me, when I have these hot flashes, I'm not complaining. It's aggravating, but listen, I would rather be hot and sit here and do this for a few minutes, okay, and everything be all right, than to be cold all the time. That was rough. That was really difficult. But my temperature now is always above 98. And the last time I checked it, it was 98.2. Now, the time before that, it was 98.6. That was like a month or so ago when I had like a stomach virus. After the stomach virus was over, I went to the store and bought a thermometer just because I wanted to know what my temperature was. I wasn't sick anymore, but I just wanted to know what my temperature was. And it was 98.6 that day. And then I took it like a week later and it was like 98.2. But I have not dropped below 98. So I'm doing very well in that aspect. My lips are no longer black. My top lip was always brown. My bottom lip was always pink. And I think that's the way most people my complexion are. We have a top lip that's brown and our bottom lip is pink. But I have a video. And when I look at that, I wanted to post it. Or there was a clip I wanted to post. And my lips were so black. Around my eyes, especially right here, was so dark. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening to me? What did I do? What am I doing? What's happening? But I no longer have, is there any tissue up here? Anyway, I've shown it in different videos, but I know, oh, there's some toilet paper over here. Okay. So, but, let me take this off so you can see. There's the lip. Can you see the lipstick? No, you can't. Wow. There it is. There's the lipstick. I just took it off. And there's my lip. Can you see? The lighting is really, hold on. Maybe if I turn it down. See how pink and pretty it is? Naturally. That's the way my lips looked before I was vegan. And I'm going to put up a clip from a video, and you will see just how dark my lips were. Now, I always liked men who had black lips. I just thought that was just so sexy. But on me, I didn't think that was attractive at all. I was mortified when I finally looked at myself, and I was like, oh my goodness. And there was a time where I wouldn't even come on camera unless I had lipstick on, because I didn't want anybody to see how black my lips had turned. And I'm like, oh my Lord, what happened? You know? So my lips had turned black. From here to the backs of my knuckles had turned really black, right? On both arms had turned really black. Or actually what happened was they turned gray and then they turned black, right? And the same thing happened on my legs, on my extremities. Your arms and legs are your extremities, right? So on my arms and legs, they had turned very gray and then black, very dark. But things have, I mean, you see my color now, it's normal. See? And let me just show you, from right here, where my bra strap would be, from right here down to the back of my knuckles here, was very, very dark. But you see, I'm all the same color now. See? So that is healed. All right. I'm just sharing with you what my experience has been, what my healing looks like, you know, what changed during that time, and what has healed since I stopped that diet. Okay. But the color of my skin has healed, because that was another thing I was worried about. I was like, is my skin going to go back to normal? What do I need to do? How am I going to heal? What do I have to do? And it was just a matter of changing the way that I had been eating and getting proper nutrition, and, you know, staying on top of my lab work and making sure that everything was where it should be. And that was a part of how I healed. When I was vegan, I didn't sweat like I was supposed to. And when I did sweat, you never smelled anything. And I never really worried about that, because as a child, my mother could not sweat. And she said they used to have to rub this salve on her skin to help her to sweat. I don't know what the salve was, but that's what she told me, that they had to put a certain kind of salve on her skin to get her to sweat, because I guess her not sweating was making her sick, or I don't know I don't know why she had to have this salve, but she said she had to have this salve rubbed on her skin. So when I wouldn't sweat as a vegan, and when I would sweat, you would never smell. You know how when you sweat in your armpit and there's an odor to it? Sometimes for some people it's really, really bad, and some people it's very mild. There was no odor when I would sweat when I was vegan. After I stopped being vegan, I sweat, but there's like, oh, that's musty. I probably should go ahead and get my shower now. When I got on the diet that I said I wasn't going to mention anymore, I would be like, oh gosh, what is happening? Did someone turn off the lights? What is going on? Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. I had a few days like that. I had a few weeks like that. I had a couple of months like that. It was really, I need to plug up my phone. Hold on 1 second. Don't die, don't die, don't die. Hold on. Okay. Is that on? Better be on. Okay. So yeah, it was bad for a month or two or three. It was bad. It took me back to when I was a girl in middle school and high school, how my white shirts used to be so yellow stained under my arms that bleach wouldn't clean the yellow stain. We had to just, I threw those shirts in the trash because I was like, Ma, you got to get me some more shirts. I'm not going to attempt to wash that shirt because all it's going to do is the bleach is going to make me itch and the yellow stain is still going to be there. So I started putting shirts in the trash. Started putting shirts in the trash. And then my Aunt Beulah bought me some dress shields, and that just saved the day for me. I mean, I did not have that yellow, ugly stain of embarrassment in the pit of my shirt. And it looks like a shoulder pad. It's got two straps, and you take one strap and attach it to this part of your bra, and the other strap and attach it to your bra. And it would absorb the sweat, and depending on what kind you got, it had an odor fighter or whatever. But my Aunt Beulah really helped me with those, and that was one of my favorite aunts. My Aunt Beulah and my Aunt Mabel were my two favorite aunts. I mean, neck and neck. If someone said I had to pick Aunt Beulah over Aunt Mabel, I couldn't do it. But I love me some Aunt Mabel. And I love me some Aunt Beulah. Yes, I did. But anyway, she really saved me with the dress pads. So I do sweat now more, not a whole lot more. And when I do sweat, there is an odor, but it's not like someone just grabbed me by my ears and, snatched me down the steps or anything. It's not bad like that. But, let me go get my shower, It's not, oh, my nose hairs are on fire. It's not like that. Not like that. So anyway, I have no further cavities. That's my business. I've already said this, but I'll just reiterate it again. When I came to this thing called being vegan or plant-based, I think again, I said this before, and I think I said it in the last video that I did, that I believe that the reason why people go to a vegan or plant-based diet is because they're going through something. They're suffering with something. And they go to that diet with the belief that this will somehow clean up all of the impurities in my body and it will heal me and get and keep me well. I think that's the reason why people come to that diet. I know that's the reason why I did it. And the main reason why I did it was because I wanted to get and stay healthy. That was it in a nutshell, right? But I believe people who go to that lifestyle are going through something and they are trying to heal whatever it is they are going through. And they even I believed that being vegan helped me with certain issues. But then when I look back on it, it wasn't the fact that I wasn't eating meat. It was the fact that I was no longer eating fast food. It was the fact that I was no longer drinking or eating or consuming anything with high fructose corn syrup. Okay? It was the fact that I was no longer, well, I never ate corn, but I was not eating any processed foods, no fast foods, no high fructose corn syrup, no processed meats like the deli meats and, you know, I just, I guess what I want to say is that I hope, I wish people would look at the real picture, not just the whole picture, but the real picture. And the real picture is that while you may believe that veganism cured you of this or got rid of that or helped you to get healthy in this way, think about this also. Maybe you were cured because you stopped eating the candy bars with all the sugar, with all the high fructose corn sugar, or high fructose corn syrup, excuse me. Maybe it's the fact that you stopped eating um, fast food, you know. And I'm not picking on anybody, but I heard someone say that, you know, they were on birth control from a very young age or a younger age. I'm not going to say whatever, but they were on birth control for a time in their teens and their periods were irregular. Well, yeah, your periods are going to be irregular because it's the responsibility of that birth control pill, if it's doing its job, to stop you from having a period. And there's nothing normal about a woman not having her period. That's not normal. You know, when a woman doesn't have a period, it's because she's, you know, oftentimes, well, sometimes, I'll just say sometimes it's because she's overweight if she doesn't have a period. She could be suffering with PCOS. She's on birth control pills. And you have to shed that lining every 30 days in order to have good uterine health, especially at the year, during the years when you're supposed to be having your menses. That's important. And if you're taking products that are stopping you from shedding that lining, from getting rid of that old blood, you know, when we have our menses, that's a way of, that's a cleansing. Every 28 days you go through a cleansing when you have your menses. Every 28 days you get new blood. What other being does that? Isn't that wonderful? I think it's wonderful. I just think, wow. Every 28 days, I get new blood. Every 28 days, I get a new opportunity at life. Whether I decide to bring life forward or improve myself. That's a cleansing. That's a gift. That's really something, you know? And I know a lot of women don't care for their periods. It's messy, it's time consuming, it's, you know, all these things that we don't like. We're bloated, we feel fat, we're eating all this stuff, you know. I get it. But I've always, well, not always, but when I got into my early 40s, I looked at my cycle as a gift. We can actually bring life to this earth. We are some amazing folks. We need a little help. We need a little help. A little dab of do you want it? You can be knocked up real good. Anyway, listen. Give me a second. But yeah, let me move on. Let me get to my notes here. So the heavy cycle stopped. Temperature is normal now. My hair is growing. There was a time when I called it the bozo effect, where my hair here was okay, but the hair here was thinning, and down the back in the middle was thinning, and it was shorter. So this was longer. What was in the back was shorter than this here. And then I had the bald spot or the thinning up here at the top. So I called it the bozo effect, right? You know, remember bozo? If you're my age, if you're in your 50s, I think you know who Bozo was. If you don't know who Bozo was, Google Bozo's hair. Okay, and that's what I had going on. Thinning here and thinning, not really thinning, but it was just shorter in the back. Okay, my hair wasn't, I couldn't have even pulled my hair around like this for you to see it. That's how short it was in the back. Okay. However, now my hair is growing. It's still thin here on the top, but the rest of my hair, I have length now. And I had this beautiful, thick bun that I used to wear on top of my head. And I just loved that bun. And I'm aspiring to that bun right now. But slowly but surely, I was losing hair. And it was like my hair was just dissolving. Because as I noticed my hair was getting shorter, my bun was not as big and as full as it was. I was like, wait a minute, why is my bun like it's not big, it's not full anymore? What's that? There was no hair on the bed. There was no hair in the shower, none on the bathroom floor. I'm like, it's just got to be dissolving. What is happening? You know? I should at least see the hair falling out in the shower, or it should be on my pillow or on the bathroom floor in the sink. But the hair is growing back now. Can you see? Let me stand up. And I normally don't wear my hair like this. I like my curls. And I washed my hair a couple of days ago because I was concerned that my curls weren't there, because I've been messing around with that curling iron a lot. But my curls were still there. They're still there. I don't do a whole lot of pressing. But anyway, my hair is growing. Right there. Now, one side is longer than the other, because if you watch the video that I did in February of 2022, I cut one side shorter, and I think this side was longer because I had like a little tail on this side, but this side was shorter. But yeah. Where's my hair? Right there. And on this side, it's shorter on this side, right here. So, hair is growing, no problems with the hair. My pre-diabetes diagnosis is gone. My A1C had gone up to 5.9. 6.0 is full-blown diabetes, I believe. I think. Don't quote me on it. But 6.0 is full-blown diabetes. I was at 5.9. At last check, my A1C was 5.6, which is normal. So I'm glad about that. So my pre-diabetes diagnosis is gone. And see, you don't think about it when you're eating all the rice, the beans, the legumes, the things that metabolize, the potatoes. You don't think about all these things that metabolize into sugar. You're eating rice. It's not sugar, but it metabolizes in your body. Sorry, y'all. Into sugar. Sugar turns to fat. And then people, will look at you and say, well, you're vegan, but you're fat. How is that? It's very easy. A lot of vegans eat a lot of potatoes. They eat a lot of rice. They eat a lot of beans that convert into sugar. They're doing everything right. They're doing everything right. But they don't understand that whole conversion of certain carbohydrates into sugar. And that's where they get in trouble. But anyway, the pre-diabetes diagnosis is gone. My kidney issues are just about gone. Your kidney function should be at 1.0 or between 0 and 1.0. Mine was 1.01, so I got to come down 0.1, okay? So the kidney issues that I was having, my kidney problem or my kidney numbers had gone up to 1.05. I'm now at 1.01. So didn't even know I was having kidney issues. And when you have kidney issues, that will make your blood pressure go up. So, you know, it's incredible how the body will start to shut down and fail when it's not getting proper nutrition. You know, I think I'm doing myself a world of good by eating rice, potatoes, beans, nuts, seeds, legumes, and all these things, you know, and I think I'm doing the right thing for myself. And a lot of the things that I was eating was causing me to have prediabetes. And diabetes affects all the organs in the body, okay? Diabetes affected my kidneys, and because diabetes affected my kidneys affected my blood pressure. It's just like a chain reaction of different things, and one thing after the other starts to fail, you know, until everything fails and you check out of here. Thyroid issues. I had a problem with, what was it, TS3, TS4, something like that. I had to get onto a regimen of, I had to get a thyroid support vitamin, and it had selenium, iodine, I can't remember. There were like 5 components in this thyroid care vitamin that I had to take. And I had to take that I could only take it for it was about 10 days at the most. And I couldn't take it anymore. But I guess because I was eating what I needed to eat, I guess I just didn't need it. On top of taking the vitamins with it, kind of helped me heal a little bit quicker, I guess is what I'm trying to say. No more trips to the ER. I've not been to the emergency room since 2020. I've not had any incidences with my blood pressure dropping to 70/60. I've not had any spikes in my blood pressure. Well, maybe a couple of times. I think I did. Yeah, I did have a few times. But that was all during that 2.5-year process of me healing. So I've had a few spikes. But for the most part, my blood pressure can be 116/70, 112/70. It's always run on the low side. But that time where it dropped to 70/60, that was abnormally low. And my doctor always told me, it's okay if your blood pressure is 112/70, as long as you don't feel weak, tired, or dizzy, or faint, it's okay. So it's okay. My lips are pink again. The dark circles are healing. It's taken time. And dark circles around the eye often indicate kidney problems. And I read that in an abstract that I was reading about kidney issues, that oftentimes when you see people with dark circles around their eyes, it's not always due to a lack of sleep, but in fact, it is due to kidney disease. When you see people Like my complexion, it'll look gray or very black in certain areas around the eye, or in lighter colored people, it'll be kind of red or burgundy around the eye. That's an issue with the kidneys. But, I always encourage people to read, and I say read more than anything, because I guess for me, it doesn't really matter whether it's in print or something that you watched, because, like your grandmother used to say, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. And any and everybody can write a book today, whether they are mentally capable or not, whether they are scholastically capable or not, whether they have the aptitude to write a book or not. Anybody can put pen to paper these days and say anything and try and have you to believe that what they're saying is gospel. So you just have to always remember to consider the source. And when I say consider the source, is this person learning? Did they make it out of high school? Did they do well in school? Are they able to articulate the jargon, the vocabulary associated with the topic that they're speaking about? Some people aren't able to do that. And that's a good indicator that they probably don't understand a lot of what they're reading, because there is something called the functionally illiterate, and that's the person who, they can read just about any word, they can pronounce just about any word, but they don't understand what they have read. Let me see. Your new iPhone has arrived. Use the below instructions to schedule an appointment using the scheduling tool. Same-day appointments will not be accepted. Someone who's functionally illiterate, excuse me, someone who is functionally illiterate can read that just as well as I did, but they don't understand what they read. That's called being functionally illiterate. They don't have an understanding of what was just read. They may think they have an understanding, but there are people who don't understand 100% of what they've read. Okay. So I just say, do your own work. Do your own research. Don't wait for someone to hand you some information or some bit of advice, because what you're working on, somebody else might not be working on. But they may say, well, I want you to try this because this works for this and this works for that, although you're not working on this and that. You're working on these and those. You know what I'm saying? So let me just move on. Blood pressure is steady now. No new monthly symptoms. Oh, Lord. There came a time where every month there was something else. There was something else wrong. This tooth was bothering me. My hair was starting to show damage that I didn't even know was there. My B12 had dropped really low. My vitamin D had dropped, very low. My iron was critically, that's what it said on the lab work, that my iron was at a critical point. Okay? And I think at that point, they should have hospitalized me, but they didn't. When it says critical, I think when something says critical on your lab work, they should be calling you back and saying, listen, we need you to come into the hospital, okay? So we can take care of what you got going on. Because right now, you are at a critical stage. But they didn't have me do that. They just told me to take some Vitron C, vitamin C with iron. That was it. Fortunately, I was able to recover with just that. Now, while I was taking the iron and I was still vegan, it was a long, arduous, and tedious task to have to take that iron and try to get my iron levels normal. And then I'm still having these heavy cycles on top of that. But once I started eating meat again, and then taking the iron, like, I would take the iron like maybe twice a month. So that would be like 2 or 3 doses a month. Plus eating meat, everything just started, coming together, lining up just the way that it should. And I got to the point where I didn't even require the iron anymore. And when I attempted to take the iron, it would make me sick. Same thing with vitamin D. If I take it, it makes me sick now. So I guess for me, if I don't need it, my body's going to say, look, we're going to make you feel bad if you take that vitamin again, because that's not what you need. It's something else going on. You need to go figure that out. My cholesterol has gone down. There was a point, I think it was 2016, where my cholesterol was 208. And I'm thinking to myself, again, why is my cholesterol 208? I'm not eating any meat. 208 as a vegan. But what I didn't realize was that I was going through, and this was my own doing, but I didn't know. This was my own ignorance. I was going through 5 or 6 cans a week of coconut milk. I'm talking about the Korean thick coconut milk that comes in a can. I was going through 5 to 6 cans of coconut milk by myself every week. It is high in saturated fat. And I believe that's what sent up my cholesterol. Plus, I was doing olive oil too. So maybe the combination of olive oil and the coconut milk was not good for me. There was also a lawsuit that I was a part of about the coconut oil, not the coconut oil, the olive oil that they were selling. And the olive oil that they were selling that wasn't real or something like that, I had 178 bottles. And they told me, well, you can get a refund, for any of the bottles that you have, that you kept. I guess they thought, just like every other normal person, I had thrown away those bottles. And I guess they were waiting for me to say, well, I've thrown those bottles away. No, I brought up every last one of those 178 bottles up to Safeway. And then they started saying, well, we can only refund you for 12 at a time. I said, you better refer back to that class action lawsuit. And I think you better hand over the right amount of money, okay? Because that document says you have to do so. They weren't expecting me to come up there. I was keeping the bottles. If you've watched any of those videos when we were in the house just before we were in now, I had one of those cabinets that it was a Lazy Susan cabinet, and I kept all of my empty bottles of olive oil in that cabinet. I don't know why I was keeping them. I don't know why I was keeping them. I just thought they were green, they were glass, they were pretty. I don't know why, but I kept them. And they had to refund me. So, but anyway, my cholesterol had gone up to 208 as a vegan. Someone who was not eating meat. And I could not understand for the life of me at that time why my cholesterol had gone to 208. Your cholesterol is supposed to be between 169 and 199. Anything below 169 is low. Anything over 199 is high. My cholesterol was 208 as a vegan. That wasn't right. And I could not understand why it was so high. I got my lab work back December 5th for my cholesterol. And my cholesterol was a beautiful 154. And I eat meat every day, twice a day. I eat beef for breakfast. When I say beef, whether it's a hamburger or steak that I made, whether it's chicken or salmon, those and it's getting a little monotonous because that's all that we eat now is beef. If it's ground beef, I buy the tenderloins and I grind it up myself. I have never brought any ground beef into this house. And this is the home where I left that vegan diet. And no ground meat has ever been brought into this home. Never, not once. I buy my own beef tenderloin and I grind it up myself and I make my own burgers. But I eat beef, chicken, oxtails, salmon, cod, and that's it. That's all we eat. Now, every now and then, my husband and daughter, they like crabs and lobster and shrimp. I think within the last 3 years, I've eaten crabs maybe twice. And I mean, like maybe a crab cake here or there. Maybe I've had 10 shrimp within the last 3 years. Maybe I've had 2 lobster tails in the last 2 years. We're not supposed to be eating those things in the first place. The little urchins, okay, the bottom feeders. But I've eaten those. And in eating meat every day, twice a day, my cholesterol is 154. So for people to tell you that meat raises your cholesterol, beef raises your cholesterol, that's not true. I'm the living proof. I eat meat every day. At least 2 times a day, if not 3, if not 4. In the summer, I don't know what was going on, but in the summertime, I was eating like 4 and 5 times a day. And that's when I was doing the thing with the no sugar, no rice, no potatoes, no pastas, all of that. I'm not going to say that diet. But I was eating 4 and 5 times a day at that time. Now I get up, I eat my first meal of the day anywhere between 10 and 12. And I used to couldn't eat before 11 o'clock in the morning, but now I can. It's no problem. And when I say I couldn't eat before 11 o'clock, I'm talking about when I was in my 20s. I could not eat before 11 a.m. because I get sick to my stomach if I did. But in the summertime, I was eating 4 to 5 times a day. Now I eat twice a day. And each time I eat, there's always some meat on my plate, whether it's chicken, fish, beef. Oxtails, we don't eat oxtails that often, but tomorrow I think we're going to have some ossobuco. I just need to find a good source. I think Safeway is safe enough, I guess, but I want to find some ossobuco, and I think we're going to have that for dinner tomorrow. But, and I eat gyros. I do eat gyros, and there's 2 places that I will go to, and they're the only 2 places that I'll go to because I feel comfortable with their level of cleanliness. The fact that I can see them while they're preparing my food makes me feel more comfortable. So, and plus I can make my own gyros. I don't have to go out and buy gyros. I know how to make gyros with my own ground lamb, beef, onion, garlic. I know how to make my own. It's not difficult at all. So, eating meat does not cause your cholesterol to raise up at all. Not at all. And while we do eat very lean cuts of, well, I eat chicken thighs, I eat chicken legs, and I eat the skin if it's crispy. I don't want to eat the skin if it's soft because it grosses me out. But I don't eat pork, and I don't eat a lot of fatty food or fatty meat. The only time I eat fatty meat is when I eat the oxtail. And the oxtails I eat like, I don't know, I eat oxtails maybe 3 times a year. It's not something I eat very often because it is fatty. You know, you got to find that piece of meat. But to do better than the oxtail, you could do the ossobuco. And that's the cow's front leg just above the elbow. I don't know if you would call that an elbow on a cow, but they have that joint right there in the front leg, and it's right above that joint, and that meat's real tender. And some people even eat the marrow from the ossobuco, but I've never eaten the marrow before. I've never eaten the marrow from anything, but I hear that's a thing. It's supposed to be healthy and good for you and all that. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go that far, but I might try it. I don't know. So anyway, glucose is normal. There was a time when my glucose was 208. Normal is for your glucose, normal is between 99 and 70 or 99 and 60. My glucose at one time was 208. It's supposed to be, no, excuse me, not 208. My glucose was 108, sorry. It's supposed to be between 60 and 90, and mine was 208 at one time, okay? Last time I had my glucose done, my glucose was 92. My A1C was 5.6, both of them normal. And I eat meat every day, at least twice a day. Normal cholesterol, normal glucose, normal A1C, normal renal, hepatic functions, normal thyroid now. At one point I had some swelling in my neck, but that's gone away. But that was back in 2020 when that happened. And I didn't talk about it. Maybe you all noticed it. I don't know, but I didn't talk about it. I was just dealing with so much. I couldn't even fathom, let alone talk about a lot of what I was going through. I just had to go through it the best I could and address each and everything, you know. And there was a lot to have to address. It was a lot to have to address and try to heal. And I got to give myself a pat on the back because, wow, you know, I went through a lot. I went through a lot. And thanks be to Yahweh. Thanks be to Yahweh. He sustained me through everything that I went through. Because I could have succumbed very easily to a lot of what I had going on. My anemia was my iron was critically low. My B12 was very low. My vitamin D3 was critically low. You can have a heart attack or a stroke from vitamin D being low. I don't think people know this. Low vitamin D could have taken me out of here. Low B12 could have taken me out of here. But somebody, and I call him Yahweh, sustained me through it all. Thanks be to Yahweh. No other help do I need, want, or know, because his grace, love, mercy, peace, protection, and covering are more than sufficient. My cup runneth over. You know, not going there. Thanks be to Yahweh, I'm still here. Thanks be to Yahweh for sustaining me while I went through what I went through, and I suffered, especially between 2019 November and 2020 March. I suffered. I was sick, cold all the time, blood pressure up and down, mostly down, too low. Stuck in bed for, and that's another thing. I haven't had any more of these weeks. You know, there would be this 1 month out of the week. Sometimes it was around my cycle, and sometimes it wasn't. Where I had this 1 week where I couldn't get out of bed. I could do nothing but acquiesce and just retreat to the bed for a whole week. I'm watching everybody else go about their day and do what they want to do, and all I can do is lay in bed. My husband kissed me good morning. Okay, baby, I'm gone. I'll see you later. I'll call you later. Okay. My husband come back home 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:30 in the evening, and I'm still laying in the bed, haven't done nothing, not even brushed my teeth. But thanks be to Yahweh, he sustained me through it all. With all that I had going on, I could have easily checked out of here. But as I said, my cholesterol has gone down. It's normal at 154. My A1C is 5.6. My glucose was 92. Everything across the board was normal with the exception of my kidney function, which should be 1.0 or less. But mine was 1.01. 0.1 off. But I'm still healing. And I know that too shall be healed in Yeshua HaMashiach's matchless and mighty name. I claim it. I know it. It's already done. I've not had any more of those episodes where I've spent a week in the bed. I usually get up with the sun. Sometimes I sleep in. But for the most part, I'm up with the sun. And once I'm up, I'm up. You know, I make it my business that if I see the sunlight, that means he let me see another day. It's time for me to go downstairs and give him thanks and praise. And once I go downstairs and do that, it's like I always say, okay, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to meet with Yahweh, talk to him, tell him all about it, thank him all about it. And then I'm going to come back upstairs and get in bed. And it never fails. I never go back upstairs and get in the bed. And that's a good thing. I'm glad. I'm glad about that. As much as I want to go back and get back in the bed, after I have said my prayers, it's like I am charged. I am charged. You know, I'll walk downstairs and sometimes, you know, I'm still feeling kind of, sort of, whatever. But the minute I start to give thanks and praise, a smile, I'm kidding you not. The minute I start to give thanks and praise, a smile comes over my face. And I'm just lit up for the first at least 5 minutes of me praying. I am lit up. I'm lit. Okay? And, you know, sometimes it gets loud down there. It depends, you know. Sometimes it's quiet when I pray. Sometimes it's loud. I know people are trying to sleep. Don't nobody bother me. That's my time. And if I get loud, I just get loud. But it's not always like that. But when I do get loud, it's hard for me to, you know, get into a mode of where I want to get back in the bed now. Now I'm up. Now I done woke myself up, you know. So it's okay. It's all good. But there's no more of these weeks spent in bed. I'm up with the sun and up for the rest of the day. And because usually I get up with the sun, I tend to be a lot tireder towards the end of the day. And maybe I should be taking naps now. I don't know. I would like to take an afternoon nap, but I don't know. I'm usually out and about and in the street or doing something, when I probably should be taking a nap. Um, I think I should be taking a nap. Whether I need a nap, I don't know. Do I need a nap at 60? I don't know. I guess if you feel like you need one, you should lay down. If you're tired, you should lay down. If you feel tired, that's your body saying, listen, I need a minute. Go on and take that minute, okay? But anyway, there's no more of that ringing in my ears. That ringing lasted for about 2 years. Now every now and then I'll get this high-pitched squeal, and oftentimes it's in my left ear. I don't know what that's from. It'll last for like, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds, and then it goes away. So, but that constant ear ringing, where your ears ring day and night and it doesn't let up, I haven't seen that in about 2 years. It's been about 2 years. I also noticed I was having some cognitive issues. Sometimes I would be talking to my daughter and I'd be like, baby, hand me that, hand me the, I couldn't say hand me the water. That scared me. Because then I started thinking Alzheimer's, dementia, I couldn't call the names of simple household items, the remote, the Motrin, the water, the compendium or journal, whatever you want to call it, compendium, journal, notebook. I couldn't call the names of, simple things, the eyeglasses. And this would happen all day long, all day long. I mean, it's like every time I went to open my mouth, I could not finish a sentence because I would always start a sentence and be like, and I'm trying, so we're going to go to the store and we're going to get some, what is that? Groceries. Yeah, groceries. I don't know. I couldn't even think of that, and that's how I would be. And so that scared me. That really scared me. I haven't had that happen in a long time, in at least 2 years. The racing heart, that would always happen if my iron was really low. And I mean, my heart rate would be anywhere from 90 to 120. I'd wake up and my heart would just be, and it would be pounding, and that's a symptom of anemia, a pounding heart and a racing heart. And I had both. I don't have that anymore, thanks be to Yahweh. My vision got better. My right eye is my bad eye. My right eye was a negative 350, and it is now a negative 3.0. My left eye was a negative 3.0, and now my left eye is a negative 2.75. Left eye was negative 3.00, and now it's a negative 2.75. This eye was a negative 3.50, and now it's a negative 3.0. So my vision improved when I started eating meat. Sure did. It sure did. And, I encourage people to read and get as much information as they can, and to remember to consider the source. Is the source learned? Are they an expert in their field? Or just somebody writing their opinion about, whatever. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I've heard it said that restrictive diets are not good, but, uh, whenever you are on a diet, you're restricting something. Whether it's calories, whether it's certain types of foods, whether you decide you don't want to eat meat, whether you decide you don't want to eat chicken or beef, that's a restriction. Okay? Whether you decide you don't want to eat tomatoes, that's a restriction. Okay? So, I believe that in being on these diets that restrict you from, so many different things, so many important nutrients, your body's going to suffer one way or the other. Because I think people forget that, health is a matter of building blocks. Oh, I want to show you something. If you've ever played the game Jenga, I want to show it to you because maybe, it would be a good illustration if I could. Hold on 1 second. Mommy! Clay! Come here. Yes, you can. Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, I'll just explain it to you. I've explained this before, but our health is just like building blocks. If you've ever played that game Jenga with the little blocks that are stacked up on top of each other, and then you pull one block out and the structure loosens a little bit, and another one, the structure loosens a little bit more. You pull out another block, and then the person that pulls out the block that breaks the structure or causes the structure to fall, they're the loser. Okay? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that your health is made of building blocks. And when you take away your sources of vitamin D and collagen and vitamins A, B, C, D, E, H, K, when you start pulling these blocks out, your health begins to become very fragile and weakened. And things that should not be happening start happening. For instance, when I was vegan is when I began having all these cavities. When I was a child, my mother never took me to the dentist, and I never had a cavity as a child. I got my first cavity at the age of 23 when I was pregnant with my first child, and the doctor said I had something called pregnant gingivitis. Because when I got the cavity, I went to go to the dentist, and she's like, yeah, you've got a cavity back here. I'm going to put in a temporary filling, but by the way, you've got pregnant gingivitis. And she said, we won't do anything about it now, yada, 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 but whatever. That was my first cavity. And that was the very first tooth I had pulled because she tried to fill it and she couldn't do what she needed to do. And it was causing more problem than anything. So I said, look, it's a molar. It's in the back. Nobody's going to see it. Pull it. And that was the first time in my life I ever had a cavity. And that was the first time in my life I'd ever had a tooth pulled by a dentist. Okay? So then, after that, I had my 4 wisdom teeth pulled out. And after that, no problems. But then you done? Yeah. Oh, it's okay. I already took care of it. You all right? Are you going back to work or you getting ready to go back in your room?
Go back in the room.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, baby.
I'm about trying to vacuum paper to get back my floor.
You getting ready to vacuum your room?
Yeah.
Could you vacuum mine? Thank you. Anyway, 3:34 in the morning. This child up vacuuming. I swear. I need to be in the bed my doggone self because I got something I got to do in the morning or in a couple of hours, in a few hours. But anyway, see, now what was I talking about? I don't even remember. I forgot what I was talking about. But anyway, yeah, there was something wrong every month. And oh, my teeth, that's what I was talking about. But yeah, I had my first tooth pulled by a dentist at the age of 23. I had my wisdom teeth pulled 2 years later, I think. I had one done. It was no problem. So I went back on my lunch hour and got the other 3 done and didn't even have to take a Tylenol. It was just in and out, no problem. And after that, no problem. Okay, so when I was about 26, I had my wisdom teeth pulled, and from the age of 26 to about 49, 50, I didn't have any problems with my teeth. But then I became vegan, and cavity after cavity after cavity after cavity. I'm like, what? I got how many? I got 6 cavities. What? You know, I brush my teeth, I floss. What's the problem? I could not believe what this dentist was telling me until he actually showed me on the x-rays where my cavities were. And they were all in between my teeth. And I'm like, I floss, I brush. This should not be happening. But like I said, I didn't have any cavities as a child. From the age of 26 to about 49, which is when I became vegan, I didn't have any problems with cavities. You know, while this diet ravaged my body from head to toe, I have to tell you, it was not completely, it was not in vain. Because I learned so much more about health. What I thought I knew, I didn't really know. I was parroting things I had heard. But what I thought I knew, I really didn't know. I thought I knew something, but I didn't know nothing. But I've had a chance to correct what I thought I knew versus with what I know right now. This was a burning, this was a refinement of health, what my health should look like, symptoms I should watch for, and when I have certain symptoms, what I should do about it and how I can take care of myself and not have to run to the ER or the doctor. Now, I'm not one to guess. I need to get down to the nitty-gritty and know for sure this is what's going on. So I will call my doctor and say, listen, how you doing? I'm just calling because I would like to, get some lab work done. I don't say what's wrong. I don't tell what symptoms I'm having. I just say I'd like to get some lab work done because it's about that time. I just want to follow up on the last set of labs we got done, right? And then once I get the lab work back and I know, okay, well, that was off, what do I do to treat that? How do I fix that? Then I can do some research and say, well, how is that fixed? You know, if my vitamin D level is low, how do I fix that? Oh, okay, I take some vitamin D3. How long do I take it? Do I take it once a day, twice a day? Take it for a week, take it for a month? Take it till I feel better and then stop? You know? And like I said before, there's a doctor for everything. There is a doctor for everything. And if you're concerned about, you know, vitamin therapy or supplements and how to use them, I would say, I know this sounds extreme, work with an oncologist. If that's too extreme, and maybe they tell you, well, if you're not suffering with, then we can't treat you. But what you can do is go to a hematologist, which is a blood and lymphatic doctor. A hematologist studies the blood and cares for people who have issues of the blood and the lymphatic system. Lymphatic. Lymphatic. Lymph node. Lymph. Lymph. Lymphatic. Intermittent fasting. Intermittent. Little vocabulary there. You know how when your teacher, well, at least when we were in school, when we were learning a new lesson in history or whatever, there was always vocabulary that you had to learn with the lesson. So the teacher would always give you your vocabulary words first. There was usually like 30 to 40 vocabulary words. You had to write them down, take them home, look them up, memorize the spelling, the pronunciation, and what the word meant. Yeah. So, you know, we learn every day. We learn every day. We learn every day. And I try to be as conclusive as possible in what I learn. But because I am not a doctor, I am not learned in the field of medicine, I don't know even half of what I should know about, you know, health, nutrition, and all of that. But I have a good working knowledge of it, I think. I think. And I'm the first to admit that I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. I was wrong about a lot. I was wrong, flat out wrong. There's no excuse. I was wrong. I didn't know shit from Shinola in some instances, okay? I didn't know. I was ignorant. I have corrected some of those things that I wasn't too keen about, that I was ignorant about. But there's still so much I don't know. I don't know. But I think I have, like I said, a good working knowledge of what I need to do to get and stay healthy. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for health and strength. I really am. I'm grateful that, you know, I am able to, you know, I was listening to another YouTuber, Led Farmer, and he has the same fear that I do. And that fear is I have a friend who had something going on in her brain, and they did brain surgery on her, and it was said she had a stroke on the table. And my friend is in a nursing home 6 years later. She can't feed herself. Someone has to clean her soil. She has to be dressed, moved, positioned. She cannot speak. She cannot communicate. I think now she's able to write, but she can't speak. Could you imagine not being able to speak? Could you imagine having a need for whatever, for someone to scratch you right here, or your throat's burning, or your head is hurting, or something is hurting you, and you can't verbalize that in a quick and concise way? I'm so thankful every day that Yahweh saw fit to wake me up so that I could spend yet another day with my family, with my loved ones and friends, with the people who are important to me. My grandchildren, my children, my husband. I'm so grateful for health and strength, because I know people suffer. Mind, body, spirit, emotion, and in health and in spirit. People suffer in so many ways. But I'm thankful that I'm peaceful. I'm joyful. I'm not stressed. I'm relaxed. I'm not anxious. I'm calm. That I can go downstairs in that kitchen and fix a meal that I would want to eat. Because goodness knows I would not want to be eating what they serve in these. It's not even good for their health. But this is supposed to be. Well, I'm not going to say anything else. But I'm just grateful that I can still get up, take care of me and my family. I can move about. I can move around. I'm grateful that he saw to wake us up this morning. That he kept the blood running warm through my veins and my heart pumping all through the night. I've been through a lot, but Yahweh kept me, and I'm grateful. And there's no better car, no better home, no better clothes, shoes, handbag. There's nothing better or more important than the health of your family, your loved ones, your friends, and yourself. No one wants to be in a position where they got to just lay there and hope somebody comes and changes their diaper because they've been laying in the same soil for the last 4 hours. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. And if you don't thank Yahweh for nothing else, you ought to thank him for just that. That you can get up and go to the bathroom and take care of yourself in the restroom all by yourself. That you can take a shower or get in that bathtub anytime you want to. Put your lotion on. Put on some clean clothes. I got clothes that's 20 years old, and I still wear them, and I'm grateful. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I just wanted to come in and just say, number one, stop worrying about these people that want to pick at you and, say whatever. I know some of us, we could care less. We could care less because those people are just doing this because they're not right. They're miserable. Okay? Because what happy person, honestly, think about this now. What person who is just joyful in their life comes and just berates other people at every chance, every turn. They're talking about this person. They talking about that person, this person. They talking about this person. They talking about that person. This person's not running the government right. This person ain't treating me right. This person I don't like. This person is bothering me. This person don't look right. This one got her socks pulled up too high. This one got her wig on crooked. This one over here ain't dressed right. This one over here don't wear her lipstick right. This one over here, always got something to say about somebody. Is always something negative. What happy person does that amount of complaining? What happy person spends their time talking about how ugly, how stupid, how fat, how sottish, how ridiculous, how crazy, how uncaring, how uneducated, what happy person does that much complaining? What person who is happy and content in their life would do that amount of complaining about everyone else? Everyone else in their community is nothing short of the devil to them. Everyone else is doing bad. Everybody else is doing wrong. Nobody else is doing right but them. Because everyone else is fat, stupid, ugly, sottish. You can't be a happy person. You cannot be a happy person. And like I said, let them talk. Because guess what? They still got to deal with what they got going on in here. They still got to deal with who they see in that mirror every time they walk past that mirror. And because they can't deal with what's right in front of them in that mirror, they got to try and bring somebody else down. They got to try and talk about someone else in a negative or a derogatory way. This is just a distraction from who and what they really are. Because if you're really happy, I don't see a really happy person spending so much time talking about another person and their flaws. If they are really happy. But like I say, let them talk. Let them say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, they got to deal with themselves. Let them say whatever they want to say. Can't possibly be a happy person. Oh, and for those that want to know, my eczema is clearing. Look at the back of my hands. They were very, very dark at one time, weren't they? Yeah. I stopped eating the strawberries. That was my own fault. I think I got into a little bit of a panic because of my inability to process sugar. And I have something called glucose intolerance. And that can come when you stop eating sugars in your diet. And I was eating a box of strawberries every day. Every day. Just strawberries, bananas, extracts, and spices. No sugars, no sweeteners added to my strawberries and bananas. But I noticed right when I would start cutting those strawberries, my hands would start itching. Sure would. And then after I would eat the strawberries and bananas, within 10 minutes, miserable. And so the first 2 nights where I didn't eat strawberries, I could not believe how peaceful I was. I just sat at the dinner table and I was like, wow, you mean to tell me I'm not itching now? This is just heaven. I am so at peace right now. You know? So out with the strawberries. So now I'm just down to bananas. But I did buy some blackberries and blueberries tonight. And I bought some pears. And I bought some steel cut oatmeal. Y'all know when I was vegan, I could eat oatmeal and potatoes every day and be content. I didn't need anything else in my life. And I miss my oatmeal. But I think if I'm not mistaken, they're even saying the old-fashioned oats are not good, the ones that take like 20 minutes to cook. So they say you have to eat the steel-cut oats. So I bought some steel-cut oats, and the last time I made them, I didn't like them. I didn't like that at all. So I'm going to soak them overnight. Maybe that will help. And then cook them. And I am going to braise some pears with just a little bit of butter and put in some blackberries and some blueberries and add that to my oatmeal, and maybe I'll add some bananas too. And of course, I'm going to put my spices and my extracts in there. So I'm looking forward to this oatmeal. I'm probably going to have it for lunch tomorrow. I won't be able to do it for breakfast because I got something to do. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to come in and encourage you and just tell you, while you're on this journey, have as little distraction as possible. Don't say anything to anybody while you're trying to reduce, because somebody's going to say something. Oh, you shouldn't you shouldn't have that. You don't need anybody to get into your head about what you're doing. Okay? You need to have a plan, and you need to work your plan as to how you're going to get this done. And even if this plan is from moment to moment to moment, because that's how it was for me when I first started. It was moment to moment. I felt just like a drug addict. I did. It was like I was fiending for something sweet. I was fiending for sugar. And it was moment by moment. It was like, I want something sweet. Okay. I'm okay. I'm all right. I need something sweet. I'm okay. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm okay. Oh, gosh, is it time to go to bed yet? Time to go to bed. Wake up in the morning. Oh, I want something sweet. It's okay. I got it. It's moment to moment. It's like being a drug addict. I'm telling you. Moment to moment. It was difficult. But you know what I learned about myself? I'm a very disciplined person. If you can make something make sense to me, like that vegan diet I thought was making sense, I stuck to that from 2009 to 2020. Almost 11 years I did that thing. Keto, I did from March of 2022, and then I stopped, I think it was in July. Yeah, just before we went to Hilton Head. I stopped in July. From March to July. March, April, May, June, July. 4 months. I did that diet. If you can make it make sense to me, I'll do it. I can stick to it. I'm disciplined. It has to make sense. It has to make sense. And for a while, keto didn't make sense to me. I said I wasn't going to say that word, but it didn't make sense to me because I didn't understand eating all this fat, and especially the pork, because I'm not going to eat the pork. I'll eat the fat, but I'm not going to eat the pork. But, and there's certain fats that you eat, medium chained triglycerides, MCT, and your ghee and things like that. Those were the things we were supposed to eat. We weren't supposed to be eating nut oils because of the high heat that they have to use to process these nut oils actually destroys the nutrients in the first place, rendering these oils ineffective as to what they're supposed to do for our health in the first place. So, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm only going to get 2 hours of sleep. Probably won't go to bed, because if I get in that bed, I'm not going to want to get up. That's what happened this morning. Anyway, but yeah, just keep it to yourself. If you're on a diet, if you're reducing, I don't want to say diet, but if you're reducing, keep it to yourself. All diets are restrictive. All diets are restrictive. All diets require that you give up something or some things, plural. Okay? And this particular diet that I am on, I had to give up some things: rice, potatoes, wheat, sugar, definitely high fructose corn. I haven't had high fructose corn syrup in years. Well, I take that back because when I got off of the vegan diet, I was drinking sodas. Like, I'd have 2 sodas a week. And even then, I would take 3 sips, and the soda would be so thick and syrupy, I could only take 3 sips, and then I had to drink some water behind it to, like, get the syrup to go down from the soda. It was, like, too thick for me, you know, but I thought I needed it. I thought I wanted it, but I'd take 3 sips and then throw it away. Waste of $3, right? But, um, every diet is restrictive. Every diet you have to restrict or give up something. I just wanted to put that out there. My doctor told me she was not a fan of certain diets. She said because you do restrict your nutritional intake because you're taking something away, or you're eating in smaller amounts. And in eating in smaller amounts, as well as taking something away, you're depleting your nutrition in some kind of way. So she said to me, my doctor said to me she wanted me to take a break. Okay. Gone are the days when you could just come here to YouTube and just, you know, say whatever you wanted to say. And it wasn't anything really bad, but you know, you have to choose your words so carefully now, you know. And that's what I'm trying to do, and that's why I'm kind of hesitating and pausing right now. So maybe I'm just going to stop right there and leave that there. There is light at the end of the tunnel. If you are considering eating meat again, it was not difficult for me. I do remember the first 30 days that I was eating meat that my stomach would burn. Like right here. It would burn right here. And that's where your stomach is, right here, right? And your stomach here. No. This is your liver, right? And then your stomach is behind your liver, I think. I don't know. But I know your liver is on the right here. All of that's your liver. But my stomach would burn right here. I just remember that. Right here, right here, right here. My stomach would burn. And that went on for like 30 days. Every time I ate some meat, my stomach would burn. And it wasn't a real bad burn. It was like, that's uncomfortable. You know, it wasn't, oh, it's burning. It was just, that's uncomfortable. It's a transition. I mean, for almost 11 years, no meat, right? So it's a transition, but it's doable. I mean, if what I was experiencing in my stomach had gotten so bad, I probably could have gotten some Mylanta, and that would have helped, and I would have been just fine. But I didn't even need to take the Mylanta. For 30 days, my stomach would burn, and it would last for about, 30, 40 minutes, and then I was okay again. And then by the second, maybe the third month, that burning stopped. I wasn't vomiting. I wasn't throwing up. I didn't feel, oh, I'm dying, I'm eating meat. It was nothing like that. But pardon me. There is healing. It takes time. Thank you. There is healing. It takes time. Be patient. Don't be afraid to look at your lab work, because I know that when I got my lab work done, I was always anxious about what it was going to read, what was going to be on there that was good, that wasn't good. You know, I was always very anxious about getting my lab work back. But you can take control of your health and your lab work. Find a lab, okay, convenient for you, that will allow your doctor to fax over the orders for your lab work. Better yet, find a lab that will take your order by phone and then fax it over to your doctor's office. Because let me tell you what happens. Like when I got my last set of labs done, and after this, I got to go. It's after 4 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me, 1 second. It's cold down here. Huh? I gotta get up in 2 hours. Oh. Okay, I'm back. So sorry. So sorry. Oh. I just ran up the steps. Okay, so anyway, better yet, okay, let me tell you what happened. The last time I got my lab work done, right? I called my doctor, and I got a doctor that I never worked with before, and he doesn't listen very well. He talks a lot, and he doesn't listen. But anyway, I told him what I wanted, and I said, and you know, I got the whole thing about, oh, this test is expensive. Oh, your insurance isn't going to pay for it. And I had to tell him, look, appreciate you watching out for my pocket, but I need to know these things. Please just indicate these things on the lab request, right? So when they do this, when the doctor does that, I said to him, I would like to get the same things that I got tested the last time. I'd like to get them tested again so I can see where I am and make sure that, you know, I'm going in the right direction, right? And so I guess what they do is, he says, okay, well, for instance, I said, I'd like to get my vitamin D tested. He said, okay, so you want the vitamin D. And so he's looking at one screen to see what I got tested. And then he has to flip over to another screen to write a new order. And I don't know why he could not just resubmit the same order that was sent before, because he's literally looking at the order previously and then going to a new page and typing what he just saw on this page over on this page. I'm like, Doc, can you just send over the order that you're looking at and copying? You understand what I'm saying? He's looking at it on one page and then opening another tab to indicate it on the new page. I'm like, why can't you just send over the order from last month? I didn't understand. So what ended up happening was there were some things that got left off. Number one, first and foremost, he left off my vitamin D. So I didn't get it tested. So I have to go back and get another bit of blood drawn for the vitamin D. And I mean, it's a pain. You know, They take a whole tube of blood. I don't know how many ounces that is. It's like a whole ounce. I think one tube is like an ounce of blood. You take a whole ounce of blood just to figure out, what my vitamin D is. Can't you like take a prick, a whole ounce of blood, and then you just throw it away? My blood's precious. Your blood's precious. But anyway, instead of doing that, instead of your doctor having to look at what you got last time and then flip over to the next tab and indicate it on a new sheet, instead of doing it that way, find a lab. And I know LabCorp, LabCorp. I know LabCorp will do this for you. You can call LabCorp, or you can go to the LabCorp office. You can handwrite it out if you want to and say, listen, I'd like to get a CBC. I'd like to get a vitamin panel. I would like to get this panel, that panel, whatever you think is necessary. Whatever got tested last time, you should have all your own results. Okay, I have all my results in my cell phone. Okay. Or I have to go to the website and get my lab results. But anyway, but just handwrite it down. Take it to the lab at LabCorp, because I know they do this, and tell them, I would like to get these things tested. Can you send this request over to my doctor's office? They'll type it up, print it up, send it to the doctor's office, and then the doctor doesn't even have to type it up in the computer. What they will do is just they'll send it over to the doctor's office. The doctor signs it. Once the doctor has signed it, it gets sent back over to LabCorp, and then you can go and get your lab work done. Once the lab work has come back with the results, they will then send the results back to the doctor's office, and he can incorporate it, macro it into your file. So now the information is in your file. LabCorp has it, and you have it as well. Now, once LabCorp gets your results completed, they'll send it to the doctor first. The doctor has to release it so that you can view it online. And normally, the doctor, well, I guess it depends on the doctor's office too. So I don't want to say this is the way it works for everybody. But my doctor's office will release it to me. Once LabCorp releases it to the doctor's office will release it to me. I've had like maybe 2, 3, 4 days to look at it myself, and then they call me if there's any problems, any issues, anything that we need to address. If there's nothing we need to address, they don't call. But I think that's the best way to go, because if you go directly to the lab, you don't have to listen to the people at the lab say, well, your insurance is going to pay for that. Well, that's an expensive test. You won't get that. I don't think. LabCorp, tell them what you want. Tell them what you want tested. Now, the one thing I'm a little suspect over, I'm a little bit of a cynic, is at one time I thought it was kind of a good idea to do these in-home tests. But the purpose for me of doing an in-home test, I think the benefit for me would be the fact of my privacy. But with these in-home tests, it's basically, you're doing the test at your home, but you have to send it to a lab, okay? And they have to do their thing with it, and you don't know who they're sharing that information with, if they're sharing it with anybody. They're probably not sharing it with anybody. Most likely these labs are not sharing your test results with anybody. Anyway, I got a little suspect about, those in-home tests, and especially at one time I was wanting to do the, what do you call that? The test where they check your DNA to see how much of this nationality you have in you, and you've got, 80% Senegalese and 5% this and whatever. I wanted to do that, but then I was like, no, no, because if they're taking my blood, they can look at my DNA, they can do all kinds. No, no, no. I just be thinking, sometimes my mind, the two marbles I got up there, they just be rattling around sometimes, they get a little active because it's only two marbles. It's just two marbles up there. But anyway, I really don't have much else to talk about. I gotta get up in 2 hours and 15 minutes. But that's all I wanted to share. We do the best we can. We do the best we can. And like I was saying earlier in my video, no one wakes up and says, you know what, I want to weigh 500 pounds. I want to weigh 800 pounds. I want to be uncomfortable. I want to not be able to tie my shoes. I want to not to be able to bend over and touch my toes. I want to not be able to fit behind the steering wheel. I want to have chest pains every time I take 10 steps. Nobody wakes up with that type of shit on their mind. No one wakes up like that. And I'm not falling into this category of people who say, oh, you're fat shaming people. I don't fat shame anybody. I can't, because I am fat, but I'm beautiful. I try to be. I really do. I try to be a beautiful person. And I'm not talking about what you see here. I'm talking about I try to be a beautiful person. I do. But I don't believe in fat shaming people. But I don't believe in the, oh, you fat. You're PHAT, pretty, hot, and tempting. I don't believe in the colloquialisms, the monikers. I don't go for those. I know. Well, I'm not gonna say I know that, because I don't know anything according to. All I know is you can't come out your mouth asking why is somebody exercising, or why is someone trying to lose weight now, and because that's like saying, why exercise now? Why lose weight now? It's too late. It's never too late. Let me tell you when it's too late. It's too late when somebody puts you in that suit and in that box. It's too late when someone puts you in that shroud and in that box. It's too late when they dig that 6-foot hole and put a person in it. Then it's too late. But as long as you got breath in your body, as long as you have a desire to do better, to feel better, to know more, to do more, to help more, you should do everything that you can to do just that. If you got the desire to lose weight, don't let nobody stop you. Don't let nobody upset you or hurt your feelings or make you feel bad. Now, some of us got more tougher skin than others. Some of us got tougher skin than others, But some of us, thanks be to Yahweh, sometimes when people throw darts at us, they throw darts at us, People throw darts at, and you know what? I know people be throwing shade. But here's the thing. Oftentimes, I am oblivious to the shade people throw my way until 2 months later. Let me tell you something. Someone took a jab at me, and she knows who she is, right? uh, I wanted a piece of toast really bad one day. I wanted a piece of toast. I wanted it to be, you know how when you toast a piece of toast and it's got like a little teeny tiny bit of brown on it, but not really. I wanted a piece of toast toasted just like that. And I wanted to put some butter on it and eat it. And so I know this individual made this video a few weeks after I said that. And it featured someone she said I look like, but see, she don't see well. And I know that person and I don't look anything alike, but you know, that's her problem. But anyway, she made that video and she had a piece of bread and she put some butter on it and then she ate it like she was charming me or teasing me with this bread. Let me tell y'all something. There are a lot of things that I want to eat right now. Not right now in this moment. I'm not hungry right now. But there are a lot of things that I want to eat. And you know how the best way for me to get over what it is that I want to eat real bad? Now, my one way of quelling my sweet tooth is eating my, what did I call them? Buttered banana, hot buttered banana. Well, what did I call it? Hot buttered banana, no, buttered banana, tutti frutti buttered bananas or something like that because I cooked the bananas in some butter. And when you add raspberry and lemon together, it makes this tutti frutti kind of fragrance and smells real fruity and it smells so good, right? And so when I have a sweet tooth, that's how I quell my sweet tooth with those fried bananas that I eat, right? But then there's times when I'm like, I want some cake with some icing. And you know what I do? I go right down to the store and I go to the bakery section and I look at all those cakes, pies, and cookies. And when I tell you I am satisfied just at looking at those cakes, pies, and cookies, and I think what the reason why I don't know if it's a satisfaction that I feel just looking at them or the fact that I know what that sugar, what that wheat will do to me. If I take even so much on my birthday, January 1st, we ordered room service. We were at the hotel, at the Plaza Hotel, and my son ordered a little teeny birthday cake. It was about that big, and he thought I was going to eat it. I was like, I can't eat that. So I said, y'all go ahead and get down. I said, because I can't eat it. So it was a little cake about that big. They said it was a flourless chocolate cake about that big. And it had a scoop of vanilla ice cream. It had some blackberries and some blueberries and raspberries. And so I said, well, I'm going to taste the cake. I took a piece of cake. Well, you can't see can you see my fingernail? No bigger than my fingernail. I took a piece of cake, no bigger than my fingernail, and I put it on the tip of my tongue, and I went, and I kind of felt the texture. I tasted it, and then I spit it onto a tissue, right? It didn't even go down my throat. The next day, I was sick just from that little itty bitty piece. The way I feel after I eat sugar, table sugar, or wheat, it makes me not even want the confection anymore. So all I got to do is look at it, and I'm like, oh, okay. All right, let's go. And I'm good. I don't. I guess I want to say I don't have to eat it to enjoy it. And it's not that I enjoy it by just looking at it, because I can't enjoy it, because I can't taste it. If it's behind the glass or in some plastic, I can't smell it. So there's really, I guess the visual is enough for me. But really what kicks me in the shins is the fact that I know how I'm going to feel if I eat that. And guess what? I don't want to feel that way, I'm good. And I can tell that piece of cake, see you later, bye. I'm good. You stay right there. Eat that sugar. Eat that wheat. That wheat'll have your belly out to here. I've seen some skinny folks. I've seen some vegans. Oh my goodness. I saw this lady, she's a vegan. And the rest of her body looks like it's really, really rail thin, right? And she was sitting on a bed and her stomach looked like she was about 6 months pregnant. I was like, whoa. I was like, no, maybe it's just the sweater. But no, she looked like she was 6 months pregnant. That's bloating. And from what I'm learning even more about, well, I don't want to, if I say what I want to say, it's going to sound like I'm knocking the diet. I'm just telling you what I'm learning. And that a lot of people get bloating from being on a vegan diet, and oftentimes they suffer from constipation. I didn't know that. I didn't know that because, I had heard of people, doing enemas and things like that, and they were vegan. And I'm like, but if you're vegan, why do you require an enema? You're eating so much roughage. You're eating nuts, beans, seeds, legumes, all these things that are supposed to, wipe through oatmeal, that are supposed to just clean up your intestines. Why do these people need enemas? But I don't know if it's the pesticides, the fungicides, the herbicides, the insecticides, the rodenticides that they use on all of our fruits and vegetables, that honestly, I don't think it's the fruit and the vegetables that's causing the problems. I think it's what they're putting on the fruits and vegetables to keep the critters from eating it so that the farmers have something to sell. I think it's all these different pesticides because, like I said, you've got insecticide, rodenticide, herbicide, fungicide. You've got all these sides, that they spray on these fruits and vegetables. Now, this year, I'm going to try again for a garden. Last summer, I yielded 2 tomatoes. In 2019, between me and my granddaughters, we picked at least 100 tomatoes off the tomato bush I had. And that was just off of one bush. That was off the one bush. And then I had 2 more bushes. The one bush that we got 100 tomatoes from, that was grown from seeds from a tomato. I just sliced the tomato in half and put the seeds in the soil, and I got 100 tomatoes. Big tomatoes. And then the other tomatoes, they were from seed too, but they weren't Roma tomatoes. They look like Romas, but they were called something else, and they're not as good as the Roma tomato. They don't taste as good. They're kind of bitter, actually, even when they're ripe. But we yielded a great crop in 2019. But this past summer, and everyone had the same complaint, every one of my neighbors, because all of my neighbors around me grow. My neighbor here, my neighbor there, my neighbor, well, she didn't want to grow nothing because she said she was tired of the gophers eating her food. But my neighbor here, he said he got next to nothing. And my neighbor over here, she says she wants to grow, but she doesn't want the critters eating her food either. But, you got to give them something. They got to get something. You put something out there for them and then they'll leave your stuff alone. But anyway, I'm going to do my best to have a garden this year because last year was not a good year. But like I was saying, I think it's the I think it's the stuff that they spray on the fruits and vegetables that cause us problems. I really do. And then on top of the stuff, you know, in the mornings, you know, one of the first things I do is I get up, I look up at the sky, and oftentimes there's an airplane going by, and there's this white trail behind the airplane. And then the airplane leaves, and that white trail is still there, and then it starts to get wider, and it disperses, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That white trail does. And then the next day it rains, right? And then all that stuff that was in the sky falls down onto the ground, onto our gardens, our food, our crops. So it's like you got to plant your stuff indoors if you want it to be pure, you know? Maybe I should try that. I don't know. I tried growing stuff indoors once, but I guess I didn't have the patience for it. But anyway, it is 4:30 in the morning. I gotta go. I gotta get up early, so I probably shouldn't go to bed because I'm telling you, I'm just like that little doll. When you lay that little doll down and her eyes close, that's me. I'm not, you know, what was that? Okay. I'm just like that little doll. Lay her down and her eyes closed. And matter of fact, you can sit me down. If I sit too long, I will fall asleep. That's why I'm surprised I'm still sitting here now, because normally when I do a live and it's after 9 o'clock, y'all have seen me do it. For those of you who have watched me do lives late at night, if it's been after 9 o'clock and I've done a live, y'all have seen me nod out on a live before. You know you have. And I've deleted each and every one of those. But anyway, stay strong, stay up. There's a lot going on in this world today. It's so sick. It is so sick. But you know what? I keep my head down and I do my work. I keep my head down and do my work because I cannot occupy myself with the thoughts, so many thoughts of what's going on this planet today. I just can't do it. It's too much. And I have to protect my mental health at all costs because there are other people that live in and around my home. And I can't, you know, let all of these things affect me, you know, because it has, you know, it has a negative impact. And I think there's, yeah, no, I can't say that. I'm going to leave that there. But, you know, I just believe that we have to guard our mental health. There's so much out here to distract us. I can't concern myself with, you know, all the evil and the nasty things that are going on. However, that's not to say that I'm not aware of all these evil and nasty things, because I don't have to sit and watch this stuff day in and day out, day in and day out. I know what's happening. I know it's going to get worse. I know. I understand. And all I can do is caution my family about, you know, what's to come, and to prepare yourself and to stick close. Where my husband Bible at? He must have took it downstairs. And to stick close to Yahweh's word and just live according to Yahweh's will, his word, and his way, the best way that you can. And mind your own damn business. If you're not sure what Yahweh has to say, because I think a lot of people don't know what Yahweh has to say about minding your business. But people, everyone, we need to learn. You know, I look, sometimes my nose be all over there, okay? Like this here. And I'd be like, okay, you need to back up. Mind your own business. Keep your head down. Do your own work. And for me, this just for me, I cannot concern myself with what that thing down there. I'm talking about way down there. Okay? Mephistopheles, whatever you want to call him, okay? I cannot be concerned with what he's doing and what he's got going on. Because, see, then he's got my attention. And if he's got my attention, I could be susceptible to falling. Okay? Because the devil got his own slick ways about catching a hold to that ass. Okay? He got his own slick ways. He has his own slick ways of catching a hold to that ass. And this one, he won't get. And I want to make sure that when I get up in the morning, that thing down there says, oh, man, that bitch up again. Damn. She praying again. Dog it. He can stay mad at me as much as he wants. That's just how I want him to feel. But I cannot concern myself with what he got going on or what he's doing. I can't concern myself with it. Because, see, you cannot serve two masters. I can't study him and what he's doing and study the real him, okay? You can't serve two masters, okay? All right? You cannot serve two masters, all right? But, like I say, I have to keep my head down, do my work, mind my business, okay? Stick and stay close to his word, his will, and his way. Because I see a lot of people slipping away from his word and his way. You know, a lot of people getting caught up in celebrityism. Is that a thing? Celebrityism? You know, where people are just starstruck by celebrities. You know. Wow. You know. If you knew what you should know about celebrities, you want to steer very, 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 very far away. Because them celebrities always looking for a sacrifice. Always looking for a sacrifice, you know. Always got to fulfill that quota, you know. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go. It's 4:37. I am 60 years here. Okay. I am 60 years here. And it seems like in the last year, I have acquired so much so many lessons in how to maneuver in this thing called life. I have learned so much. And if I can, I want to come here and share the things that I've learned. And I'm going to come right back. I'm coming right back because I got to do this video. I got to do this video. And it's not going to be long either because I got to lay down for a minute. Anyway, thank you to those of you who tuned in for this live. I appreciate you spending your time with me. If for just a moment or the whole video, I appreciate you being here to share time and space with me. I do appreciate it. So whether you came to watch the live or whether you came here to watch the replay, I'm grateful. I'm thankful. And I hope that something I said will help you maneuver, you know, in some way in your day-to-day. I hope that something here was said that would edify you, okay? This is I Am Everything Fresh and Sassy. Stay close, stay tuned. I'm coming right back. I'm turning this camera off, and I'm going to turn it right back on. So if you want to come back, you're welcome. If not, go get some sleep. It's 5 o'clock in the morning almost. It's 4:39. I'll be right back. Sawubona mngani.